"Let's play hide and seek," cheered Boots, swinging from a vine. "But let's play somewhere new, somewhere adventurous." He pointed a fuzzy finger towards the edge of the yard where the tall trees of the Whispering Woods stood. "In there." Dora looked at the dark woods. "It looks a little spooky, Boots." "Don't worry," Boots said bravely, puffing out his chest. "We're explorers." They took a deep breath and stepped into the shade of the big trees. The sunlight disappeared, and the air grew cool. Snap! A twig broke under Boots's foot, and he leaped into Dora's arms with a yelp. Dora giggled and set Boots down. "It's okay, silly monkey." It was just a twig. She walked over to a giant oak tree. "I'll be the seeker first. You go hide." Dora covered her eyes with her hands and began to count. 1, 2, 3. Boots scampered away, his heart thumping with excitement and a little bit of fear. He looked left and right. The trees seemed to have funny, spooky faces in their bark. He finally spotted a big, round boulder covered in soft green moss and dove behind it. 1920. "Ready or not, here I come," Dora shouted. She turned around and looked into the quiet, spooky woods. "I'm going to find you, Boots," she called out, her voice echoing softly among the trees. Dora walked carefully, stepping over tangled roots. A long, wobbly shadow with spiky arms stretched across her path. Dora gasped, but then she looked up. It was just the shadow of a funny-shaped tree branch waving in the breeze. "Silly shadow," she whispered. "Hoo-hoo!" A low, mysterious sound echoed through the trees. Dora froze. Was it a monster? She tiptoed towards the sound and peeked through a curtain of leaves. Perched on a branch was a big, fluffy owl with huge, round eyes that blinked slowly at her. "Hoo-hoo!" the owl said again. This time, it didn't sound scary at all. It sounded like it was asking a question. Dora smiled. "Hello, Mr. Owl. I'm looking for my friend Boots. Have you seen a little monkey?" The owl just blinked its big, wise eyes. She continued on, following a winding path until she reached a little stream. The water gurgled over smooth stones that seemed to glow with a soft green light from underneath. For a second, Dora thought they looked like dozens of little eyes watching her from the water. She reached out a curious finger and touched one. It was just a smooth, cool rock covered in glowing moss. She looked up and saw tiny, blinking lights dancing above the stream. "Fireflies," she laughed. "You're making the rocks look magical." Back at the mossy boulder, Boots was starting to feel a little bit lonely. It was very quiet. Too quiet. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound in the bushes right behind him. Rustle, rustle, crunch. Boots squeezed his eyes shut. He peeked one eye open. A furry little nose poked out of the leaves, followed by two fuzzy ears and a pair of curious brown eyes. It was a baby bear cub. The cub tilted its head and gave Boots a friendly sniff. Boots let out a nervous giggle. The bear cub wiggled its nose and then ducked back into the bushes. A moment later, its head popped up on the other side of the rock. It wanted to play. Boots giggled again and popped up to say, "Peekaboo!" Dora was still searching when she heard a familiar sound. A giggle, then another. "That sounds like Boots," she said to herself. She followed the happy sound through the trees. "I'm getting warmer," she called out. She pushed aside a final branch and saw Boots, not hiding, but playing peekaboo with a fuzzy bear cub. "I found you." Dora laughed. Boots jumped in surprise. "Dora, look, I made a new friend." Suddenly, a very large shadow fell over them. A big mama bear stepped out from behind a tree. She was much, much bigger than her cub, and she looked right at them. Dora and Boots froze, their game forgotten. But the mama bear didn't growl. She just walked calmly to her cub and gave it a gentle nudge with her nose, as if to say, "Come along, little one, playtime is over." The little cub looked back at Boots and gave a tiny wave with its paw before following its mother. They disappeared quietly back into the deep woods. Dora looked around. The woods didn't feel spooky anymore. The shadows were just dancing trees. The strange sounds were friendly owls. The glowing eyes were just magical fireflies and soft moss. The woods weren't scary. They were full of surprises. "Wow," Boots said, looking around with new eyes. "This is the best hiding place ever, Dora. It's not scary at all when you get to know it." "Let's play one more time," Dora suggested. "Okay." Boots cheered. "My turn to be the seeker." He scampered back to the giant oak tree at the entrance of the woods. "1, 2, 3, his little voice echoed. Dora ran off to find a hiding spot. She found a big hollow log lying on the forest floor. All around it, little mushrooms glowed with a soft blue light. It looked like a fairy house. Dora crawled inside, feeling perfectly safe and cozy. "Ready or not, here I come," Boots called out. He wasn't scared as he walked into the woods this time. He looked up and waved at the owl, who hooted a friendly hoo-hoo back at him. He giggled as the fireflies danced around his head. He saw the gentle blue glow coming from the hollow log. He crept closer and peeked inside. "Found you," he whispered loudly. Dora popped her head out, and they both burst into laughter. The sun began to set, painting the sky orange and purple. Dora and Boots walked out of the woods, holding hands. The Whispering Woods weren't scary after all. They were just a new place waiting to be explored, full of new friends and wonderful secrets.